Hello everyone and welcome to Nebula Racing League's Turkish Grand Prix. We're here at round 5 going around Istanbul Park, and this time we are doing 29 laps around the circuit. The distance is 154 kilometers and we have a total of 14 corners. The corners are really long, so expect high tyre wear and a variation of 1 and 2 stops from different drivers. It depends how well they manage their tyres. The Monaco podium last time out, Samem took the victory, Artos was in second and Daisenia was in third. We cannot provide highlights as the racing was not up to standard, although there was a few big names that crashed out and got involved in incidents such as Cal HD and Chasmer. The championship has turned on its head now due to this, and Artos is now leading the championship, Samem is in second and the previous championship leader Chasmer is now in third. The tyre options for this track are softs, medium, intermediates and wet, and we'll now go over to our race commentators to take us through the qualifying standings. Okay, so we have Artos on pole in the Ferrari. He was 1.1 seconds faster than second place. This was mostly due to a few people receiving qualifying bans from incidents in Monaco. In second we have Daisenia. That's a really good position for him. He'll be looking to take the battle to Artos, but he's got a new wheel and he's trying to get back to his better pace, so it's going to be hard for him. Max in third place, that's his best qualifying of the season, so if he can keep it on the podium or even sneak it into second, that's going to be really good for him. Lucas in fourth, also his best qualifying of the season. I think he'll just be wanting to keep it there, make sure he finishes the race this time out, as Monaco is a bit of a struggle for him as well. We have a newcomer here, Gunfight SK. He's in the Marussia. He's put it in 5th place. It's a really good place for Marussia, and they'll be wanting to score valuable points to get back into the Constructors' Championship. We have Norton 6. He put in a solid lap. It was quicker than Boss this time, and he'll be happy with that. He's just going to hopefully finish this race, as Monaco also was a really bad race for him. We've got Boss in 7th place here. He's in the Red Bull. That's the furthest Red Bull up on the grid, so it's a bit disappointing for them. And we have Insomnia, who's still in the pit garage. He had a big accident in qualifying, and he may not be able to get the car up and running for the start of the race. We have Chasmer in 9th. He received a qualifying ban for an incident that happened in Monaco, as well as Samem. He was involved in the same incident, and both drivers received a qualifying ban, so they're going to be starting at the back of the grid, and it's going to be interesting to see which one of them will finish ahead of the other, and also if they will be able to get up onto the podium. So in 11th we have a non-qualifier, which is Jem. He's not going to be very happy with that. He couldn't get a lap together in qualifying and just decided to start on a fresh set of tyres in 11th place. We have Peck, who also received a qualifying ban. That's why he is at the back of the grid, and he's going to hope to just, I think, get as high up as possible. He doesn't know what to expect. He's not sure what his relative times are. And Jebrias, who is here in 13th place.
So the cars are on the grid now. The lights are starting to go out. 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights. And the Turkish Grand Prix is go. A lot of wheel spin from all the drivers there. Artos gets a very good start away, and Max Shepard's up into 2nd position there. So Artos leads the race so far. Max Shepard in 2nd, and I think that's Luca maybe in 4th. So they're coming into the left-hander now, quite tricky. It tightens on the exit, and you can see already drivers are getting pretty oh, and there's a spin there. That looks like that's Gunfight SK, and it looked like Chasmer as well. So I'm not sure if there's damage between the two drivers there, but there was a bit of contact there between Chasmer and Gunfight, and it looks like he's making a move up the inside here. So he's already gaining positions on drivers having started from the back of the grid.
Yeah, he's coming around turn 8 here, and he's actually in front of Peck coming up the hill, though Sam's got a much better start than him, and he's in 5th position. He's going to look to try and get the move done on Luca, and I think that's Daisenia actually in front, so Sam's already in contention for a podium. It's not even the end of lap 1, so we're riding up the hill here. Sam's got a run on Luca, that is, but Chaz is also on the back of Sam. We're running 3 wide, running up the crest of this hill here. Who's going to come out on top? It's going to be Battle of the Late Breakers, and I think Chasmer's edged his way into 4th already. Let's see what's going to happen here as Luca breaks really late. Chaz is on the outside now. Is he going to be able to hold it round the outside? He's going to run Luca deep into this corner, but he's not giving up. Luca's actually got the racing line for the final corner before we're coming across to start lap 2.
So they're on the main straight now. They're going 3 wide down the straight here. So who's going to break the latest? Sam backs out, and they're going to first corner. There's contact there between Luca and Chaz loses a lot of positions there. He lost 3 positions. Luca's also got some damage. He's going off track, and that's another driver running wide there. I'm not sure which Red Bull driver that is. That might be. Is that Sam or is it Boss?
I think that is Boss.
That is Boss, okay. So just confirming that there. So we're on board, well, you can see Jabarius here, he locks up, goes pretty wide there, and he seems to be having a bit of difficulty driving the car at the moment. The car is very, very twitchy, just going everywhere, and I think Boss has actually got a run on him into this corner here. I'm not sure which, I think it's turn 7. But the Marusha behind, is that Quanta? That's a Sauber there. It's just span. It looks like it's north. The span. He's locked up going into turn 7, and he's just put the throttle down far too early. I managed to not collect any other drivers, which is good. So we're on to lap 2 now. Just drivers coming past. Lock up from Gembolic Daisy here. He's starting on the fresh tyres, and he looks to be hunting down Chasmer. Quite a long straight here, so the slipstream is quite effective. The drivers will be looking to use mix engine mode 1 in order to maximise their speed on this straight, although you can't use it very often because it does use a lot of fuel and it does overheat the engine as well. So on board Max Shepard here, he's still in second, so it's a pretty good performance from him. He got a very good start at the beginning, jumping Dysania, and he's currently trying to catch the leader, Artos here. It's been the best race from Max Shepard so far, and Artos is not actually too far up the road here. He might be fuel saving, or he might just be lacking in pace, but they do seem to be equal in pace right now.
Yeah, Max doing really well to hold on to second place. There's no one really giving him a threat at the moment, so he's actually staying with them. And we're on the back with Chasmore here. He's in 5th place after the incident into turn 1. And I think that's Peck that he's chasing down. He's going really quick here. He's going to manage to do the same move. No, he's not. Okay, so we go on board here with Chasmore. He's rising up this hill before the quadruple apexes of turn 8. Drops it, although he's in this dirt air, and it's going to cause a lot of understeer out wide. But he's still managing to keep in the slipstream. He's ran off track. That's going to lose him a lot of time as he's going down the hill here, braking just before the 100-metre boards and making sure you clip it in for the apex before rising up the hill once again. I think Chaz is going to have DRS. So
yeah, he should be within a second here. So he'll try and maximise the slipstream, and he looks like he's gaining quite a lot here. I think he might have put it into engine mode 1. Will he make a move into the chicane here? I think he had a look there, and Peck did leave him quite a bit of room, but just far too far back to make a move there. But he's closed right up onto the gearbox of Peck here. There is only one DRS zone on this track. That is the main straight, not the start-finish straight. But Chaz is looking very quick at the moment. He's right on the gearbox of Peck, and he should be able to make a move soon. He's actually looking to make a move here, so he's going to be on the outside in the left kink here. Peck's on the inside, and that looks like an easy move for Chaz there. I think he just had the grip to go right around the outside, and Peck didn't really hold him up too much there. He's got aerial shots of Luca, and that looks like, is that Sam?
That's Sam M, yeah. He's coming around the end of turn 8 as Luca runs wide. That's him down into 8th position. Sam is going to be really happy that that overtake wasn't as hard as he expected it's going to be. He's up in 7th place now. I think he spun on the 2nd lap, so he was struggling with grip on the rear of the car, and this is the first time we've went on board with our leader, so he's building the gap to Mac slowly but surely. The gap is around 1.5 seconds, so it's not too big, and Mac's doing really well to hold on here as we move on to lap 5 of the Istanbul Grand Prix.
I'm not sure if Luca actually had damage from that incident with Chasmer, but he did seem to run off track there. It might have been dirty air, or just might be damage. On board Dysania here, he's in 3rd, and that looks like Chasmer, who is right behind him and is hunting down. He's going extremely well just now, considering he started from the back of the grid, although he is on fresh tyres. Big lock up from Dysania there, and that cost him quite a lot of time there. Allowed Chaz to come right up to his gearbox, and Chaz might actually have a run here. Dysania's going to try and stick it to the inside, and I think that was a bit of contact there. I'm not sure, was that contact?
I think both drivers were a bit unaware of where each other were, and I think both of them just had a bit of misunderstanding on the track, and clipped a little bit, so that's going to be damage for both drivers and obviously going to slow them down for the rest of this race. But hopefully it's not going to be too much and they'll be able to get a new wing or something in the pits and get it all fixed so they're good to go. But where Peck here, he's running in 4th place. He's had a really good start considering he started in 12th. That's 8 positions gains already in the opening 5 laps. So he's now hunting down Dysenia, and Dysenia locks up once again. He must be really struggling with the tyre temperatures as Peck understeers wide a little and clips the apex really nicely there before we're on to lap 6. And Peck might actually have a run coming out of turn 2 if he can get close enough, but I think Dysenia is actually still in the slipstream with Chaz, so it's going to be an interesting battle to see who gets on the final place on the podium.
Yeah, well, Dysenia, he had a big lock up at turn 1 there, and it cost him maybe 2 or 3 tenths, and that allowed Peck to close up a little bit. The drivers at the moment do seem to be quite equal in pace. They're not really, there's not been too much action. There's been a bit of action on lap 1 with a few instants and overtakes, but at the moment it's just easy into the middle stages of the race. Pit stops are going to be, I think, around what lap? Pit stops going to be
around from lap. It depends if drivers are going for a 1-stop. They'll be pitting at around 13 to 15.
It looks like Peck's going to make a move here, and he's going to try around the outside of turn 8, and that's a brave move there on Dysenia. And has he held it? Yes, he has. That was an incredible move around the outside of turn 8.
That was a world-class move from Peck there. He's going to be really happy with that one. Dysenia, I think, was just shocked that Peck even tried that. That was just an absolute ballsy overtake, and we're on board with Mac, and I think, sadly, Mac has lost connection to this Grand Prix. He was running amazingly in 2nd. Yeah, that's Chaz took 2nd place now, so Mac's sadly disconnected after he was running in his best position so far this season, and that's really unfortunate. But now we're going to see if Chaz is going to be able to chase down Artos, and hopefully we can finally get a battle out of these two. We've been waiting all season for it to happen.
Yeah, it was looking like a good race for McLaren there, running 2nd and 3rd. That looks like Gems actually ran right off the track through a lockup, and he's almost span it upon re-entering the track. So a big mistake there from Gem, and that's the first. Is that first pit stop? Yeah, that looks like Luca. He's in quite early actually, and I'm not sure if that was for. It didn't look like it was for damage. And did he change tires?
I think he just changed to another set of super softs, so that's interesting that Luca's going to be going for a 2-stop. Maybe the damage that he got from turn 1 incident with Chasmer, and that's actually Dysenia, who's got too heavy on the throttle, just almost the same as Nort, but luckily he's kept out of the wall, and that's promoted Sam up into 4th and Gemma up into 5th position. And yeah, as I was saying, Luca was either coming in because his tyre wear was too bad because of the front wing damage, or he's either just going for a 2-stop as he thinks that's a quicker strategy.
So we're on board with Artos here. He's coming into the last chicane, ready to start lap 8. He's dominating the race so far, but I think he's going to be wary of Chasmer, who's running very quickly at the moment just now. He's on fresher tyres than Artos at the moment, obviously from starting at the back of the grid. But you can see Nort here, I think he had a bit of a lock up there, it might have been lag, and he seems to be struggling with pace right now, struggling with getting to grips with the car. Coming through turn 8 now, quite a lot of understeer there, and the driver up ahead's actually understeered off the track as well. I think that's, is that Jabarius? Or?
Yeah, that's Jabarius in front. So the Ketum's still driving off track, so he's obviously having some issues with the handling of the car, as we've seen earlier as well. He ran really wide. That's allowed Nort on the back of him here. Nort's going to be in the DRS range, so he's going to open that rear flap and close down the gap really quickly. He's rising up over the crest of this hill here. He's getting really, really close. I wonder if he's going to be able to get the move down the inside, but I think it's just too little too late. And Jeb's, he's double locked up. Both drivers locking up. They're pushing these cars right to the limit here. Nort's really closing this gap as Jeb's struggling to find the correct racing lines. Nort's got a really good exit out the final corner. We're on lap 9 now, and Nort's going to hopefully be able to get past here. We're going to see what's going to happen as we move our way into turn 1, and that's Jeb locking it up and running wide.
He span it, and
yeah, he's lost
that was lucky for Nort to actually get out of the way of Jabarius there. Back on board with Dysenia here. He's gone quite heavy on the curb there. You don't really want to do that on this track. That seems to be, that's the other Marussia driver that's just spanned. So
that's his teammate, yeah.
So I don't think that would have been very good for Dysenia to see that. He's in 6th though, going into lap 10. So you can see Peck here coming through the last corner onto the straight. I think he has, I think that's Sam M behind him, and he seems to be weaving a bit there for some reason. I'm not sure what that was there.
I think he's just trying to get heat into his tyres. He seems to be really struggling with temperature as he's been lighting up the rears. If we go to a nice offboard shot of the camera, you can see Jem just lacking behind these guys. He's falling away lap by lap. But Sam is closing down on Peck as we go on the front nose cone shot as we're rising up the hill of turn 7 through turn 8. We've got a really nice selection of corners, although at this point in the race that's going to be really degrading on the tyres, and some drivers may be starting to come in for their pit stops soon, so it's going to be interesting.
Yeah, it should be interesting seeing how Peck manages his tyres at this point in the race. Sam does seem to be closing a bit. He might actually be within DRS range here. I think he is actually within a second. So Peck is struggling with his tyres at the moment. Sam seems to be managing his tyres a little bit better, maybe getting a little more heat into them and keeping them a lot longer. But I don't think he's close enough for a move here. Oh, he does actually go for a move there, and that was a bit of a dive bomb from Sam there, and I don't think it really worked out well from it. It was a bit of a last second move from Sam, and he almost took out Peck. Peck just about left him room, and that's cost Sam quite a bit of time there. So you can see Boss here coming through the left-hander, and he's span it coming onto, I think that's the straight, and well, it seems to be a half spin, but he's just span it completely on the grass. It does happen if you put the throttle down on the grass, because there's literally no grip on the grass. I can see Nort, I think he actually gained a position there, so he's up into the points in 8th. I think he'll be pretty proud with that. He's still having brake problems there, you can see in the last chicane, locking up quite a lot. But he does seem to be having quite a lonely race at the moment. I guess he's happy with 8th position at the moment.
I think Nor, every time he gets into or close to a battle, someone spins in front of him, so he's been very unlucky in terms of racing this race. But Peck's running in 2nd, this is, so I don't know if that's an issue or Chaz is pitted, I'm not sure. But Peck's currently in 2nd place. He's got Sam in behind him, and I think Sam's still closing the gap. So Peck's going to open up this last corner, get as much traction on the exit, but Sam's had a better line out, and he's going to have the run here into turn 1. The slipstream effect is really good on this track, and I think Sam's going to possibly go for a move into turn 1, but he locks up, misses the apex, and that's going to allow Peck to gain more out of turn 2 as he rises up the hill once again into 7th gear before shifting down to 3rd on the apex. Sam is coping much better with these tyres, and Peck looks to be struggling once again.
Yeah, Sam does seem to be coping a bit better with his tyres. Peck went a bit wide there, a bit of an oversteer moment from Sam, and he's on the outside. Peck's gone right to the inside to defend his position, and Sam's going to try and look for a move around the outside. Does he have the grip to go around the outside? And it does seem to... No, he doesn't actually. So he lost out there. He didn't seem to have the traction coming out of that corner. Although they were side by side. If Sam just had been a little bit closer to Peck, he would have had the inside for the next corner, and he would have basically taken the position. But he should have DRS here, and I think Peck's made a major mistake there, going right, like very, very far out wide, and that's cost him the position right there. I'm not sure who gets DRS at this point. It might actually be Peck. Is it Peck who got
over
DRS
the detection point? Sam actually has the DRS, that's why he's pulling in front, and Peck's actually had the run. He's trying to try and hold it around the outside once again, and that's a Caterham off the track. It looks as if that's Jebediah, sadly, and I think he's lost a wheel, so that looks as if he's out of the race. Although Sam has a really nice apex, but Peck's took the outside line, which obviously has more grip because it's a proper racing line. They're running too wide into turn 1. Peck's managed to get the overtake. Well and done. He locks up the inside left. A lot of drivers having brake problems as Sam is climbing up the hill once again, trying to close down on Peck, and now we have a replay of Jebediah. He's just got his right tyre, or left tyre, sorry, on the grass, and it's just spun him into the wall. I think that's him out of the race. I'm surprised that car's still even moving. They just...
Yeah, that was a pretty bad accident there. The car is completely screwed at the moment in time. No rear wing, no left rear tyre, and it'll be amazing if he actually got that back to the pits and they repaired it. So back on board with the battle here. Sam M still trying to hunt down Peck. I think that's Shembolic Basie in the background. He's actually, I think he must be gaining on these two actually, because these two are obviously taking different lines through battling. But Sam must have DRS here, and it looks like he's activated it. Coming onto the main straight here, I don't think he's close enough for a move, although he is quite good in the brake, Sam. And he's just going to try and close up to Peck, pressure him into mistake, and hopefully get position right there. But I think he's going to try to cut back onto the start-finish straight. Yes, he does. And he's right behind Peck now. He's in the slipstream. So will he try and move into turn 1? He's right behind the gearbox of Peck. And no, he doesn't. He just stays in the dirty air of Peck, just not making very many moves. I think he's just trying to be a little cautious at the moment. He doesn't want to be an instant about halfway through the race, because that will obviously cost him quite a lot of time and maybe give him a penalty.
Yeah, Sam seems to be lurking around the dirty air of Peck, so his tyres are going to be overheating, he's going to get higher wear, but saying that, he's going to look to go or a move around the inside, I think, go through turn 7, he's going to brake later than Peck, but still not enough as he gets a better exit out of turn 7, and now Sam, can he make the same move what Peck did to Daisenia early in the race? He's just going to back out of that one. I think Sam's just not got enough grip, or he's just not got the top speed to get past this Ferrari in this situation, because he seems to be losing a lot on the straights, and I think that's Chasmer. He's put it into neutral and he's hit the wall. He's actually is the one running in second, not Peck, so we had a bit of an issue with the graphics earlier, and I think Chaz is going to get this pit stop done fairly nicely, but that incident against the wall, that's going to be very interesting to see if that affects him later in the race.
Yeah, I think the pit team did actually repair the car there, because he did take that damage before he entered the pit lane. Although he might not have actually chosen to repair damage in order to save time. But that is Chem into the pits as well. Be interesting to see what tyres he goes on to. He was running it in 5th at the time before he pitted. It seems he's had a bit of a mistake in the pits there. It seemed that he wasn't really in his pit box there, because he had to move forward. I'm not sure what issue he had there.
Yeah, I think Jem just got into hot and he tried to stop and he just missed his pit box completely, so that made the Mercedes crew had to completely reshuffle, and that cost him a lot of time in the pits, around 5 seconds. But Sam's still out. He's going to try and go for the overcut here. It's going to be interesting if this is going to work. I don't think it is. The undercut's really effective on this track, so Sam's going to lose time. He's currently running in 2nd place, and I don't know if he's going to come in this lap. You can see Chaz has already almost catched him, so he's almost a pit stop ahead of him already. That just shows the sheer pace of the driver himself.
I don't think Sam's really trying to go for the win here. I think his main competitor in this race is Peck right now, so he'll be pushing hard to try and overtake Peck in the pits. It's interesting to see Peck and Sam on different strategies. Peck and Sam could have pitted at the same time, but I think Sam decided not to in order to vary the strategy and have better tyres for the next stint. I think this race, is it a 2-stop, or could drivers do a 1-stop?
Well, we're now into the pit ranges where the 1-stops are easily possible. Sam fits the medium compound tyres and he's lost 3rd place to Peck. You can see Peck's ahead and he's gained like 5 seconds on Sam, so the idea to stay out a lap longer was not a good one, and I think that was Nort. I'm not sure it was spun at the side. It was definitely a Sauber, at least from what I could see, and Sam's going to have the fresher tyres though, so this battle's going to heat up in the next few laps, and Sam seems to have the pace on the harder of the 2 tyres, so we're going to have to wait and see what comes of this battle.
Yeah, I don't really think this battle between Peck and Sam's over, but the race leader's coming into the pits now. Artos coming into the pits, just about manages to get it slowed down for the pit limiter line, and I think he must be at least 10-15 seconds in front of the next person, if not more.
The gap before the pit stop was 9.2 seconds.
9.2 seconds. And
Chasmer obviously pitted early, so we're going to see how much he's got in the undercut.
Well, the undercut is effective on this track because the tyre wear is worse than most tracks because of the long sweeping corners, especially turn 8. But I think Artos is definitely still ahead. You can see the rear shot here. You can't really see Chasmer at the moment.
7.2 seconds the current gap.
Okay, the gap is 7.2 seconds at the moment. Quite a comfortable gap, but it should be interesting to see if that gap goes down or if it increases later in the race.
Yeah, Artos has just really had another comfortable race here, trouble free, and he's just managed to just climb the gap as all the drivers had to battle. But we're following Dysenia here, and I think he's on the back of Gem, that is. Dysenia is going for a two-stop strategy, so his tyres are beginning to wear because he's on the super soft one, not the super soft, sorry, the soft compound tyre. So his tyres will wear faster, but they'll also be much quicker out of traction zones, and you can see he's struggling with understeer in that Marussia car. It's not performing up to standard, and we move over to Gem as he climbs down the hill, sorry, and brakes at the 100-metre board before sweeping it round and climbing back up the hill again. I'm sure Gem is going to try and catch the drivers in front, but I don't know if he has the pace to do it. It's going to be interesting to find out as well.
I don't think Dysenia is quite in the DRS zone. I think he's maybe 2 seconds behind, but he does seem to be gaining on Gem here. I'm not sure what problem Gem has, but he's just had a massive lock up into the last chicane here. He does seem to be having some problems with brakes, as all drivers do at this track. But it should be interesting to see if these two battle in the last stint in the race. So back on board with Sam here. He's closed right up to Peck, and this is the battle for the last position on the podium. Should be interesting to see which driver actually gets it, because these two have been very close throughout the race, despite actually starting at the very back of the grid. You can just see the quality of these drivers starting at the back of the grid, managing to get right through the field. That just shows the quality of his drivers. But Sam has closed right up to Peck, and he should be able to get DRS if he stays within the gap here. Sam's going to suffer through turn 8 here, obviously with the dirty air. You'll have to take it slower in order to not run out wide, but he should be able to gain time on the straights here through slipstream. It should be very close in the DRS who actually gets ahead by the last chicane. But Sam's definitely closing up now. He must be within a tenth, yeah, less than a tenth now, and he's got DRS, so he should easily be able to make a move here. And is Peck going to even defend? I don't think he is. He's just going to stay to the outside, and I think, is that going to be? Well, Peck's actually stayed around the outside of the track there. It's like I'm not sure.
He's ran really deep though, but he's cut the last corner, and there's been a bit of contact there. I'm not sure if these two drivers were aware of each other's positions, but Sam's going to try a move down into turn 1 this time, and he's not going to hold no prisoners. That's the move done, but I think he's got a bad exit, and that's going to allow Peck to come round the outside much better. And that Sam, oh, he's managed to hold it. That was a really close one, and he almost put it in the wall, so he's going to be a bit on edge for the rest of this lap before he gets back up to speed. That was a really high speed oversteer moment as he got on the curb, so he was really lucky not to end up crashing and not finishing. As you can see, Chasmer's now lapped gunfight. He's running in 7th. He's going to be happy with this as his first race, considering he had that incident on lap 1 with the contact with Chasmer, and although Chasmer got past easy that time.
Yeah, those curbs, the outside curbs are definitely very dangerous for the drivers. I think that was Nort or Jabarius that actually span on the curb, and that ended the race. They're just very dangerous. This looks like Peck and Sam once again. So Sam's making another move with the RS. They're going wheel to wheel on this main straight. For some reason, I think that's Peck actually gaining time. I think he must be in engine mode 1 or something. But Sam's he's not going to try and move around the outside. He's going to try the cutback, just try and pressure Peck into making a mistake and try and get a better exit onto the main straight. And I think Sam does definitely get a better exit. He's close right up to Peck now. They're going wheel to wheel into the first corner. Who's going to break the latest? And I think Sam's actually broke the latest. But there's a huge instant there between Sam and Peck, and it's flipped Sam right over. And it'll be interesting to see how much damage he has. But he's kept the car running, and that's Chem. I think that's Chem passed. That was a pretty big instant. I'm not sure what the stewards will have to say about that, but it was interesting to see. I don't think they didn't squeeze each other out, and I think there was room between each other. It might be. Do you think it was a game glitch or something?
I have no idea. Both drivers came together, but it looked really like as if they were pushing each other to the limit. And I think they just made contact, and either Peck's front wing or front wheel, I think, clipped him and flipped him over. But luckily, here we go. Actually, we can see it here. Sam runs into turn 1, and yeah, as you can see, he runs a little bit deep, and Peck also closes the gap because he didn't expect Sam to run too deep. But he's lucky he managed to keep the car going, because that seems as if he's going to have a lot of damage and struggle with the rest of this race.
Yeah, it was quite a big impact between those two drivers here. So we're back on board with Chasmer. He's still in second, so Artos is still leading the race. It's been quite a controlled race from Chaz here. He's managed to come back from the back of the grid basically to second, which is a good performance from him. I think this race was basically damage limitation from him, just limiting the points difference between him and Artos is just his main goal right now in the race. I don't think he really can get the win at this moment in time unless Artos makes a huge mistake or his tyres just go off the cliff, which I highly doubt, because Artos is an excellent driver. So on board with Artos here. He just came through turn 7 there, coming into turn 8. He's got about 8 laps left, and I think is he on for the 2-stop, or is it the 1-stop he's going for?
I think most of the front runners are opting for the 1-stop, as that's suggested by Pirelli themselves that is the quicker option. But the tyres may suffer due to at the end of the first stint. But the gap is coming down between Artos and Chasmer. It was originally 7.2 when they came out of the pit, or when Artos exited the pits, and the gap's now down to 5.8 seconds. So Chaz is gaining, but it's a wonder if Artos is actually saving fuel here, because he seems to be putting in lap times consistently slower than Chasmer. Last lap Chasmer went 8/10 faster, so you can see Chasmer gaining in the background. The gap is coming down, so we might have a really good end to the race.
There's 8 laps left, and if the gap's coming down about 8/10 a lap, maybe I think the gap's maybe 6 or 7 seconds at the moment, so you could see a battle at the end depending on how Artos' tyres fare. But you can see Jem Bullock-Basie, I think he's been passed by Sam. Is that Sam, or is it
That's
Boss
Sam, yeah, Sam's finally got past Jem.
So Sam's managed to gain time on Jem there. Jem goes out of the slipstream for some reason, I think maybe to cool his tyres or something. But Sam's managed to recover from that incident with Peck, and he's climbed back up into position in front of Jem. So that's a big moment there. That's Peck there. He just had a big moment of oversteer coming out of turn 7. I think he might have gone into the throttle too early. But that could have really cost him in the latter stages of the race. Could have put him in the wall easily. Did he go on the curb there, or was it just on the throttle?
Yeah, it's just like the other two drivers we've seen already do that. You just got on the curb and there's no grip on there. It's like driving in the rain. The car just aquaplanes and it goes sideways. And Boss is gaining on Nort here. You can see Nort's having trouble still with the handling of the car. He runs it wide under the curb. Boss is going to have a run through turn 8, but it's going to be really hard on this harder compound of the two tyres to try and get past. He's currently on the mediums, and I think he's also running the 2-stop strategy, which is the slower of the two, but it's more easier to pull off, so we shall say. Although Boss seems to be losing time now out of the traction zones because of these harder compound tyres, and you can see Nort's slowly building the gap as he rises up this hill. He's in 8th place. It's a really comfortable race by him, and he's doing well to keep it here. And we go on to the 23rd lap for Nort, and it looks as if he's ran wide, and I don't know if that was driver error or the car, or what do you think that was?
It was quite weird. It was like he just took his foot off the throttle or something and then downshifted on the middle of the straight for some reason. It was quite weird. But you can see Artos here still in the lead on lap 24. You might be able to see Chaz if we get a rear shot here. You can't quite see him. But at the moment, I think he's just saving fuel. If there's a battle with Chaz in the last stage of the race, I think he just wants as much fuel for that as possible, so he can go into engine mode 1. But see Chaz here, he is, I'm not sure in the gap there, maybe 10 seconds.
The gap is actually less than that. It's much less than that. It's down to 4.9 seconds now. So.
It's 4.9 seconds. That's pretty interesting. So Gunfight is into the pits for a late pit stop. He must be going onto the soft tyres. I don't think he'd go onto the harder tyre at this moment in time. It's quite a late pit stop though. I think he tried to go for maybe a one stop, and he knew that that wasn't going to happen. But he comes out, or I think he might have come to the pits in 7th, and I think is he coming out in 7th?
Yeah, you're correct there.
Yep. So on board with the battle here between Nort and Boss 1996. Boss has actually closed quite a lot up to Nort here. I think Nort's still struggling with the brakes there. Big lock up at turn 1, and despite being on the softer tyre, Nort is struggling. Boss runs out a bit wide, almost goes into the curb actually, which lost him a bit of time. You saw earlier Sam did that, and it almost put him at the wall. But if the gap stays the same, Boss should have DRS on the main straight, and that should be, well, it shouldn't be an easy pass, but it should be relatively easy to pass because it is quite a long straight, and the hairpin, or the chicane at the end, is quite a good place to pass. But it should be interesting to see if Nort continues to make mistakes. I think at this moment in time he looks to be losing the position to Boss.
Yeah, Boss is really up the gear. He's putting in much faster sector times than Nort. He was 3 tenths faster in the first sector alone than Nort there, even though he had to take avoiding action in turn 1. But I think that's Artos in the background, so this traffic here is going to affect the battle for first and second, because it's going to slow Artos down, and it's also going to affect the battle for 8th. So this is going to be interesting to see if Chaz can manage to get on in the back of this and see if he can pull off a position on Artos, or if Boss and Nort are going to peel off easy and just let them pass. But it's going to be interesting because both of the battles are going to be fought out at the end of the race, and I wonder how long it's going to take for Artos to catch these two, and hopefully they just let them by, because we don't want the front runners to be held up. And you can see the gap there, it's closed even more. The gap's now 4.6 seconds between the two drivers, first and second, but Boss seems to have ran wide and he's losing time in Nort. But I don't know about you, Mac, but I think he's letting Artos through.
Yeah, he is. I think that was key for Artos to get past quickly. I think Nort should let him pass. He should be letting him pass pretty soon, otherwise he'll be holding Artos up, and that's the last thing Artos wants this time. And yes, he does pull to the side to let Artos pass, but he's got to be careful here. He doesn't want to let Boss pass as well. He doesn't want to let Boss gain time on him. But Chasmer here coming through turn 8 on lap 26. He's closing quite a lot up to Artos. You might be able to see them in the distance now. He's coming up to lap Boss right now, so he's going to look to get past Boss quickly as well. He might be able to. No, I think he's too far back to make a move on Boss there. Will he get DRS?
No, I don't. He was over a second behind at the detection point, but Boss has lifted off and let Chasmer through, so hopefully that hasn't ruined the battle between Nort and Boss, because it was really spicing up to be something really decent. But we're off to the off cam now, and Chasmer's not too far behind. The gap's closed even more. It's now 4.3 seconds between the two drivers, but I just think there's not enough laps left for Chasmer to close down the gap.
So an onboard shot of Sam here. I think this is, what corner is this? I'm not quite sure. This looks like the first few corners,
turn
maybe turn 5, yeah. So coming into turn 7 now. I think he's in 4th. I'm not sure on the gap between him and Peck at the moment, but Peck there running quite wide onto the AstroTurf. Don't really want to be doing that because it slows the car down and you may spin off due to the curbs. But it looks like he is looking to get 3rd here. I think, is this his first podium of the season, or has he had a podium before?
In Imola he scored a podium, I'm sure. He finished pretty far back after a big mistake. He was actually running in 2nd with a contention of winning, but he made a mistake in the pit lane. But we're now going to an off-camera shot, and you can see the gap between Artos and Chasmer's like really short now, or really low, because that's as they cross the we'll see as Chaz crosses the first sector split, the gap is 4 seconds, so that's another 3 tenths in the last lap. So Artos is going to try and push as hard as they can, I think, these last 2 laps to make sure, but also keep the car on the road and not make any mistakes, because if he does, Chaz is going to be right on the back of him. I just don't think there's enough time for him to actually catch and pass Artos.
Yes, Artos has to be very, very consistent at this moment in time. He doesn't want to make mistakes to lose time to Chaz, who's I think at this moment in time he's quicker than Artos, definitely quicker. Maybe not by much, maybe 2/10 a lap, but at the moment in time he is quicker. On board with Sam here, he's coming into the corner before the main straight, and it looks like he'll be getting fourth. This is the last lap, and unless Peck puts in the wall, I really doubt that Sam could gain position here. Unfortunate for Sam, that incident beforehand, flipping his car. He was lucky in that he didn't get more damage, but
he's lucky to even have kept in the race.
Yeah, he could have lost a wheel or lost suspension or something, but looks like he finished fourth. Then Peck finished on the podium.
Wait, we still have another lap to go.
Is this another lap?
Yeah, yeah.
All right.
Artos,
yeah, because these guys. Okay, my mistake. So I think the gap's maybe 3 or 4 seconds between Sam and Peck right now. I think it's too big for Sam to close up. But Artos here coming on to into the final chicane here. You can see. I think this is. You might be able to see Chasmer here. In the you just about saw him there. So the gap was still coming down actually on the last lap of the race, and looks like Artos is going to come through to win the Turkish Grand Prix. I think that was a pretty dominant race from Artos there. He had a bit of trouble from Mac at the start, but Mac unfortunately disconnected. But you see Artos wins the Turkish Grand Prix. Chasmer finishes second. Great performance from him, starting from the back of the grid. And Peck looks like he's going to be coming through. Sam's actually gained quite a lot on the last lap, but I don't think he's close enough at this moment in time to gain the position.
The cars aren't too far apart actually, and Peck seems to be really struggling. I don't know if he's running out of fuel or if Peck's just lost a lot of grip in the final lap.
The gap was incredibly small at the end of the race there. He might have been fuel saving, or his tyres might have fallen off, but Peck finishes third there for Ferrari, so it's first and third for Ferrari. Good results for them. Sam M finishes fourth. He had a very good battle with Peck throughout the race. Jem finishes in fifth for Mercedes. He had quite a quiet race, Jem, but I think that's good points for him. Dysenia coming through to finish sixth. I think he had quite a few incidents in the race, a few spins and lockups and mistakes. Cost him maybe a lot of time. Gunfight there had a quiet race again. We didn't see much of him in the race, but he finishes seventh, so he gets his first points in his first race.
Moving on over to the race classification after 29 laps of the Nebula Racing League's 2014 Formula 1 Turkish Grand Prix. Artos took out the victory then. The final gap was 3.915 seconds to Chasmer, so he did bring it down, but just not enough in the end. Peck rounded off the podium just over a second ahead of Sam, so Sam was really gaining on him in the last stages of the race, and Peck must have been struggling with either his tyres or fuel. Jem came in fifth, Dysenia sixth, and Gunfight seventh. Nort scored some more points. He was 2 laps behind as well as Boss, but he managed to stay ahead of him, and that's going to be good for Sauber in the Constructors' Championship. And Jebariah, sadly, as well as Luca, both Lotuses, DNF'd this session, and they won't be scoring any points. And sadly, Mac disconnected, so after running in second really well for him, he just struggled to get his internet up and running properly. So the Drivers' Championship standings, Artos is still leading, and after Chaz DNFing in Monaco, he fell down to third place, so he's still in third place. He's only 2 points behind Sam M now, and it looks like Artos has an easy run in as long as they can keep the car in the top 2, which he's very capable of doing. And yeah, hopefully it's going to be a good battle and we can see these two closing up. But Peck's gained a position on Dysenia. He's in fourth, and Dysenia's obviously in fifth. Max stayed in sixth. Unlucky for him, as we said previously, and James gained up into seventh. Insomnia, Cal and Luca they've both dropped positions, and Ferrari are now leading the Constructors' Championship, as they have been for the past 2 races, and McLaren are in second, Red Bull are in third, and Marussia are in fourth. Mercedes are now in 5th after Jem scoring really good points. Cal sadly had to miss the race, but he will be back for the Austrian Grand Prix. And Toro Rosso have also moved up. Sadly, Caterham have lost their drivers and moved down, but they still remain 7th in the championship, and Lotus are in 9th. Or 8th, sorry, with 9 points.